Chosen one, listen closely, because this moment is not accidental, and what I'm about to say is meant for you, not the crowd. Right now, something very real is happening behind the scenes of your life. A powerful man, someone with authority, resources, and legal standing, is in the process of placing his power into your hands, not emotionally, not symbolically, legally. This is not about favoritism or luck. This is about alignment. You didn't chase this position. You didn't beg for recognition. You didn't even fully prepare for it consciously. Yet here you are, standing at the exact intersection where trust, responsibility, and destiny meet. Power is not being given to you because you asked for it. It's being transferred because you proved, quietly and consistently, that you could carry it without abusing it. Most people want control so they can feel important. You move differently. You chose integrity when no one was watching. You stayed grounded when it would have been easier to manipulate. And now the system itself is responding to that frequency. When a powerful man legally places his power in your hands, it's not just paperwork, it's a signal. It means you are seen as stable, clear-minded, and capable of making decisions that affect more than just yourself. This shift will change how people treat you, how opportunities approach you, and how reality starts arranging itself around your choices. Some will be confused. Some will feel uncomfortable. That's normal. Power transfer always exposes who was benefiting from your silence. But understand this, you are not stepping into someone else's role. You are stepping into the version of yourself that was always meant to lead. Stay with me, because what happens next depends on how well you understand the responsibility you're being trusted with, and why this moment was written long before you realized it was coming. Before we go deeper, you must connect with this energy. Like this video to align with the message. Comment below, "Thank you, God, for protecting me from what was fake." And subscribe to the channel to send your signal to the universe, because messages like this don't find everyone, only the chosen ones. This transfer is happening because you didn't chase power. This transfer is happening because you didn't chase power. And that detail matters more than you realize. Most people who want control make noise about it. They talk about their plans before they are ready, announce their ambitions to feel important, and constantly look for signs that others recognize their value. You chose a quieter path. You didn't advertise yourself. You didn't demand attention. You simply focused on doing what felt right, even when it slowed you down or made things harder. That kind of discipline builds something deep inside a person, something that can't be copied or rushed. There were moments when doing the right thing was inconvenient. It may have cost you time, comfort, or even opportunities that looked tempting on the surface. Still, you chose integrity over shortcuts. You showed up when no one was watching. You stayed consistent when there was no applause, no praise, and no guarantee that your effort would ever be acknowledged. That consistency shaped your character in ways that ambition alone never could. It taught you patience. It taught you self-control. It taught you how to act responsibly without needing external rewards. Because you didn't hunger for power, you learned how to live without it. And that's exactly why it can now be trusted to you. People who chase control often do so to fill an inner gap. They want authority to feel secure, respected, or validated. You didn't rely on any of that. You built your sense of self quietly, through action rather than image. That makes you stable. And stability is what true power looks for before it moves. This is why the transfer is happening voluntarily. No one feels pressured or manipulated. into placing responsibility in your hands. Instead, there is a natural confidence that you will handle it with care. Your calm nature signals that you won't misuse influence for ego, revenge, or personal gain. You've already proven that you can be trusted when the stakes are low, which is why the stakes can now rise. True authority is never forced. It doesn't come from shouting the loudest or pushing the hardest. It comes from reliability over time, from being steady when others are reactive, from making thoughtful decisions instead of emotional ones. You've lived that truth without trying to prove it, and that's why it's now coming back to you in a tangible way. This moment is the universe's quiet confirmation that you won't misuse what you're given. Not because you're perfect, but because you're grounded, because you think before you act, because you understand responsibility more than reward. You didn't chase power, and because of that, power found you ready. Legal power follows spiritual stability. Legal power always follows spiritual stability, even though most people never realize this connection. Before authority shows up on paper, in contracts, signatures, or legal responsibility, it first settles inside a person's inner world. What's happening now is not sudden. It's the result of a quiet shift that already took place within you. Your emotions are no longer running your decisions. You don't react instantly out of anger, fear, or insecurity the way you once might have. You pause, you observe, you think. That inner calm is not weakness, it's control. And control over yourself is the first requirement before anyone can trust you with control over anything else. At some point, your inner noise settled. You stopped being pulled in 10 different emotional directions. You no longer feel the need to compete, prove yourself, or compare your journey to others. That emotional maturity changed the way you move through situations. When pressure shows up, you don't panic. When conflict appears, you don't escalate it. When uncertainty arises, you don't collapse. This stability creates a sense of safety around you, even if people can't explain why they trust you. They just do. A powerful man can sense this. Sometimes it's logical, based on observation, over time. Other times, it's intuitive, something felt rather than analyzed. He notices that when responsibility is placed near you, things don't fall apart. They organize. Problems don't multiply, they get simplified. Decisions don't become emotional, they become practical. That's a rare quality. Many people want authority, but very few can carry it without creating chaos. You've already proven that authority won't amplify ego in you, it will amplify clarity. That's why this trust is not temporary. Temporary trust is given to test people. Structured legal trust is given to people who have already passed those tests without realizing they were being watched. You didn't just show competence, you showed restraint. You didn't just show intelligence, you showed emotional regulation. And that combination is what turns trust into something formal and intentional rather than casual. This moment isn't about luck or timing alone. It's about readiness. Legal power requires consistency. It requires someone who won't make reckless decisions when emotions spike or pressure increases. Your inner balance shows that you can hold responsibility without becoming unstable or overwhelmed. You've learned how to separate feelings from judgment, and that skill alone makes you dependable. What's happening now is a natural progression. Inner order creates outer order. When your mind became calm, your actions became predictable in the best way, steady, thoughtful, and reliable. That's why authority can now move from energy into form, from trust into structure, and from intention into legality. This isn't power being tested on you. It's power recognizing that you're already prepared to carry it. You're being chosen as a protector, not a ruler. You're being chosen as a protector, not a ruler. And that distinction is the reason this moment carries weight. This isn't about domination, control, or standing above others. It's about stewardship, being someone who can be trusted to care for what's placed in their hands. Power is moving toward you because you naturally protect people, systems, and values instead of exploiting them. Where others see opportunity for personal gain, you see responsibility. That mindset alone separates you from most people who seek authority for the wrong reasons. You don't lead by force or fear. You create safety. When something fragile comes under your care, your instinct isn't to squeeze it for results. It's to stabilize it so it can grow. That applies to people, to work, to resources, and even to ideas. You understand that not everything needs pressure. Some things need patience. Many people know how to manage success, but very few know how to hold things together when they're vulnerable. You do. And that ability is far more valuable than loud leadership. You've shown that when there's imbalance, you don't take advantage of it. You don't step on cracks to climb higher. Instead, you strengthen the foundation. That's rare, because it requires self-control. It requires putting long-term well-being over short-term wins. You're willing to carry weight quietly if it means stability for everyone involved. That's why power can trust you. It knows you won't abuse weak points or turn authority into leverage. Most people can lead when everything is going well. They shine when resources are abundant and conditions are easy. But leadership reveals its true nature when things are fragile, when systems are under pressure, when people are uncertain, when mistakes could cause real damage. In those moments, you don't panic. You don't abandon responsibility. You stay present. You become steady. That steadiness is protection in itself. This transfer is happening now because you've already been acting like a guardian without a title. You've taken responsibility even when it wasn't officially yours. You've made decisions with care even when no one demanded it from you. Authority isn't changing who you are. It's simply recognizing what you've already been doing. Being a protector means you think beyond yourself. You consider consequences. You weigh impact. You understand that power isn't about being served, but about serving something bigger than ego. That's why this role is coming to you naturally. You're not being chosen to rule. You're being chosen to preserve, to strengthen, and to guide what matters through moments of fragility. And that is exactly why this transfer couldn't have gone to just anyone. This shift will quietly change how people treat you. This shift will quietly change how people treat you. And the most surprising part is that it won't happen through loud announcements or dramatic moments. It will show up in small, almost unnoticeable ways at first. Conversations will feel slightly different. People may choose their words more carefully around you, even if they can't explain why. It's not fear, it's awareness. They sense a change in your presence, a new steadiness that carries weight, and instinctively, they respond to it. Some people will start looking to you for approval or reassurance without consciously deciding to do so. They may ask for your opinion more often, pause before making decisions, or subtly check your reaction before moving forward. This doesn't happen because you demand authority. It happens because your clarity makes others feel secure. When someone becomes grounded and decisive, people naturally gravitate toward that stability. It's a quiet form of leadership that doesn't need instructions. At the same time, you may notice that a few people pull away. This can feel confusing if you take it personally, but it's important to understand what's really happening. Your new position, energy, or responsibility reflects choices they didn't make or paths they avoided. Being around you reminds them of their own hesitation, and not everyone is ready to face that. Their distance isn't rejection, it's self-protection. It has nothing to do with your worth. Power has a way of revealing truth without saying a word. It doesn't accuse and it doesn't explain. It simply highlights what already exists. Relationships that were based on convenience may feel strained. Interactions that relied on imbalance may fade, and connections rooted in respect will grow stronger. This isn't loss, it's alignment. You're not pushing anyone away. The shift is naturally reorganizing your circle. It's important to stay calm during this phase. Don't overthink every change in behavior. Don't try to correct how others respond to you. You're not meant to manage their comfort levels. Stay grounded in who you are. The fastest way to lose respect is to react emotionally to it. The fastest way to gain it is to remain steady. You are not becoming someone else. You are becoming more fully yourself, and others are adjusting to that reality. Let respect arrive on its own. Don't chase it, don't demand it, and don't explain yourself into it. True respect doesn't need permission. It settles naturally when you remain balanced, present, and clear in your actions. Not everyone will celebrate this, and that's confirmation. Not everyone will celebrate this, and that reaction is actually confirmation that something real has shifted. If this change were ordinary, if it didn't carry weight, everyone would be smiling, clapping, and offering support. But true elevation doesn't move that way. When someone rises into real authority or clarity, it naturally creates mixed reactions. Some people go quiet. Some feel confused. Some become distant or uncomfortable. This isn't because you've done something wrong. It's because the balance has changed. There are people who benefited consciously or unconsciously when you had less authority, less clarity, or fewer boundaries. Your growth disrupts old arrangements that worked in their favor. When power shifts, even subtly, it exposes where people were standing. That can create resistance, not because you harmed them, but because the dynamic no longer serves them the same way. This is not something to fix or explain. It's something to observe. Silence from certain people can feel unsettling at first, especially if you're used to being understood or appreciated openly. But silence is often more honest than praise. It reveals who was comfortable with your previous position and who respects your current one. Confusion is another common response. When people don't know where they stand anymore, they hesitate. That hesitation is not your responsibility to resolve. The most important thing is not to defend yourself. Power doesn't argue. The moment you start explaining your growth, your decisions, or your position, you lower yourself back into a dynamic that no longer fits. True authority doesn't need validation. It operates quietly and lets results speak. Your clarity will be felt, even by those who resist it. Resistance doesn't mean rejection. It means adjustment. Some people need time to recalibrate their expectations of you. Others may never do so, and that's okay. Not everyone is meant to walk with you into your next phase. This isn't punishment or loss. It's realignment. Stay grounded during this stage. Don't seek approval from those who are uncomfortable with your progress. Don't shrink yourself to keep others at ease. And don't mistake lack of celebration for lack of success. Often, the most meaningful shifts happen without applause. Your steadiness, your consistency, and your calm response will communicate far more than words ever could. Let the change settle. Let people reveal where they truly stand. And remember, When elevation is real, it doesn't need agreement to be valid. You are now responsible for decisions that ripple outward. You are now responsible for decisions that ripple outward, and understanding this will help you carry this role with clarity instead of pressure. When power is placed in your hands, your choices no longer affect only your own path. They influence people, systems, and outcomes beyond what you can immediately see. This doesn't mean you're expected to be perfect. It means you're trusted to be thoughtful. Purpose replaces pressure when you realize that responsibility is being given because you've already shown you can handle it. You're being trusted to think long-term rather than react emotionally. In the past, life trained you through moments where quick reactions would have made things worse. You learned to pause, reflect, and respond instead of acting on impulse. That discipline is now one of your greatest strengths. Decisions made from calm awareness last longer and create stability, especially when others around you feel uncertain or overwhelmed. Fairness is another reason this responsibility has come to you. You don't play favorites. You don't let personal emotions cloud your judgment. You understand that what feels good in the moment isn't always what's right in the long run. That ability to separate emotion from decision-making allows others to trust your leadership. People may not always agree with your choices, but they will sense that those choices are balanced and considered. There will be moments when others are confused, divided, or unsure of what to do next. In those moments, your clarity matters more than your words. You don't need to have all the answers immediately. What matters is that you don't panic. Calm presence itself becomes guidance. Stability spreads when one person remains steady, and you've learned how to be that person. Your life didn't randomly prepare you for this. Every delay, disappointment, and moment of restraint taught you something valuable. Times when things didn't go your way trained your patience. Moments when you had to hold back shaped your wisdom. Situations that tested your self-control strengthened your judgment. None of that was wasted. It all built the inner structure required to carry responsibility without being crushed by it. This role is not about control. It's about impact. Your decisions now have the power to create order, fairness, and direction for others. And because you understand the weight of choice, you won't take it lightly. That awareness is exactly why this responsibility was placed with you. You are not being asked to be flawless. You are being trusted to be conscious, balanced, and intentional. And that makes all the difference. This moment was prepared long before you noticed it. This moment was prepared long before you noticed it, even if it feels sudden now. From the outside, it may look like things changed overnight, but in reality, this path has been forming quietly for a long time. Every delay you experienced wasn't a setback, it was a lesson. Each pause slowed you down just enough to build patience, awareness, and self-control. While you were waiting, something important was happening inside you, even when nothing seemed to be moving on the surface. There were doors that didn't open when you wanted them to. At the time, that felt frustrating or unfair. You may have questioned why others moved ahead while you stayed in place. But those closed doors protected you from responsibilities you weren't ready to carry yet. Had power arrived earlier, it might have overwhelmed you or pulled you off balance. Some things come too heavy before a person is strong enough to hold them. Timing isn't punishment, it's protection. Moments when you felt overlooked also played a role. Being unseen teaches humility in a way success never can. It strips away the need for constant approval and forces you to rely on your own sense of direction. You learned how to keep going without praise, how to trust your inner compass when no one was pointing the way. That skill is essential for anyone who will later be trusted with real authority. You are also being tested in subtle ways. Life watched how you handled disappointment, how you responded when things didn't go your way, and whether frustration turned into bitterness or wisdom. You didn't harden. You adapted. You learned restraint instead of resentment. That emotional maturity is rare, and it can't be rushed. Now, when power shows up, it doesn't inflate your ego. It doesn't make you feel superior. Instead, it feels like responsibility. That reaction alone proves your readiness. You can receive without arrogance because you understand the cost of growth. You know what it took to get here. You know how easily things could have gone differently. This moment didn't arrive early, and it didn't arrive late. It arrived exactly when you became capable of holding it without losing yourself. Everything that once felt like delay was actually preparation. Every quiet season built strength you now carry naturally. And that's why this moment feels steady instead of overwhelming. You didn't just step into power, you grew into it. This is only the beginning, not the peak. This is only the beginning, not the peak. And understanding this will keep you grounded as everything continues to unfold. What you are stepping into right now is not the finish line, it's the doorway. Many people mistake the first moment of recognition or responsibility as the highest point, but in truth, it's simply the signal that a larger journey has officially begun. This transfer marks entry, not completion. There is more ahead, and it will unfold step by step, not all at once. With greater responsibility will come greater support, even if that support doesn't always look the way you expect. New allies will appear, resources will align, insights will arrive at the exact moment you need them. You won't be asked to carry more than you can handle without also being given the strength and clarity to manage it. Growth doesn't happen through overload. It happens through alignment. As long as you stay balanced, what's required of you will match what you're capable of giving. Clarity will also deepen. You'll start seeing patterns more easily, understanding situations faster, and recognizing what truly matters without overthinking. Decisions that once felt heavy will begin to feel natural. This isn't because things get easier, it's because you become wiser. Inner strength grows quietly, through experience, reflection, and steady action. You don't have to force it. It develops as you move forward with intention. What's been placed in your hands is meant to multiply, but not just in visible or material ways. The real growth will show up in impact, in how many people feel steadier because you exist, in how systems become more organized under your care, in how confusion turns into direction when you're involved. Multiplication isn't about accumulation, it's about influence used responsibly. It's important to remember that you are not here to control others or dominate outcomes. Control creates resistance. Wisdom creates cooperation. Your role is to build what lasts, stabilize what's fragile, and lead in a way that others can trust. Leadership rooted in wisdom doesn't shout. It guides. It doesn't rush. It sustains. As long as your intentions remain clean and your actions remain steady, this path will continue to open naturally. You don't need to fear the future or rush toward it. Each step will reveal the next. This isn't the height of your journey, it's the foundation. And what you build from here will carry far beyond what you can currently see.